Peace. Islam taught the Moors out there. First and foremost, want to give praise to the Most High, to the Father God, Allah, Father of the universe. As always, want to give honors to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed. Islam Moors, we want to also give honors to the forerunner of the Prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And we want to give honors to all the active Moors out there, to all the Moors in leadership within the temple, all the various groups. Honors to all the active Moors out there, all the faithful Moors all over the world. Peace. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And we're just going to speak on a few things today. I don't like harping on the negative and bringing up the things that aren't going right within the movement, but there's some things that have to be spoken on, right? And have to be put out there and clarified, right? Because every day there's new people coming into the movement. You may be one of them. You may be tuning in. You may be new to this. Maybe you've only been on it for a few months or a few years, right? And you have some questions. So we're going to clarify some of this stuff up. All right. And Islam, to everybody tuning in, we'll go ahead and let some more Moors come up in here. But yeah, so we're just gonna speak on some things, some real issues that's going on right now, and it'll all make sense. Okay. So if you haven't already though, make sure you check out that website, moorsinamerica.com. And also we have plenty of other videos on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, make sure you like and share this video with your friends and family. Okay? And one of the things that I really wanted to speak about just right off bat is something is going on within the community, within the movement, I guess you could say, so to speak. All right? One of the things that people encounter, or that I see all the time, people are asking, what do I do? How do I move out here? Right? And the reason people are saying this is because there's so much confusion going on, right? You have people, that think that, okay, now that they, excuse me, now that they know about the Moorish nationality, they're wondering, I'm not supposed to have a driver's license, right? So they're asking, like, how are they supposed to drive? What are they supposed to do? You're not supposed to have a social security card. How do I work? How do you do this, and that? How do you own homes? How do you do so many things, right? Islam. And so people are asking these questions for those who don't know or for those who know better because of all the stuff that's online. Like, you have so many different opinions online, so much conflicting information online and in the streets, right? And for one, that's how, which I may have spoken on this before, but it's important, so I'm going to speak on it again. A lot of people, that are drawn to this, are coming to this, they're coming to it with the idea, that you're above the law, that you don't really have to abide by anyone's laws. Of course, you don't need a license. You can just do whatever. You can just buy some plates from some random person online that says they're more, and you'll be straight. And all types of stuff. And so people seeing all these things, and it's really hitting the people that's new. But then also, there's people that's older than me that's pushing this stuff too, right? People that should know better, right? Even some who's been in the movement for a while. Okay? And I want to put this together so that it makes sense, because I've been on this for a while, for several years, right? This isn't new to me, and I've experienced all that stuff. And I'm telling you, but I'm also going to show you that the information that you're seeing where people are telling you, that you don't really need to abide by any laws. First off, telling you that you're sovereign, and where they're mixing different things, like people are going and squatting in houses, going to foreclosures and finding foreclosed homes, going in there, changing the locks, you know, putting notices up, and then the police, sheriffs are coming in and kicking them out, and a lot of these people getting arrested, right? And then everybody's telling you, right to travel. You don't have to have a driver's license, and hey, maybe technically you don't, but you better be prepared. You're not making your life easy. You're not making it easier for yourself. Okay? And if you want to take these things on, becoming Moorish is a huge burden. Becoming Moorish, right? Learning about they're becoming Moorish because they're taking on all this extra stuff. You're supposed to proclaim your nationality. You know who you are now. You want to do something about it, but for what these people are doing, they're taking on all these different things that really have nothing to do with what the prophet brought. Okay? And it's bringing a ton of problems into your life. Exactly. So what people are doing, like Islam, they're making their lives harder. Very hard. And it's getting no progress. And this stuff is nothing new. All of this sovereign talk, all of this stuff's been going on within the Moorish movement for 15 years strong, and probably longer than that. Probably, little pockets here and there going back into the 90s, maybe the 80s, but it wasn't like it is now. So this has been going like it is now pretty strong for like 15 years, okay? But it's done nothing. It's gotten no progress, right? And I say this, because like we have to bring it home. Like it's good that you're starting. It used to be, and I hope this isn't too jumbled, but it used to be where, for most of us who found out about the information, the only place you were learning about it from was the people pushing this sovereign stuff, and that was the only voice for the movement that a large amount of people would see. You had a couple people still holding it together as far as keeping the temple and the structure and things like that going, but for the most part, people didn't see that. Okay, so, all right, Islam. Okay, somebody in the chat said since the 90s. So I'm not saying it just started 15 years ago. I'm saying it's been going strong. All right. See, you might have, like in the 90s, I was there in the 90s. I'm saying like, before the internet was popping, we had to get out there in the streets and learn it, and it wasn't popping like that. And even when the internet first started really getting in everybody's homes and stuff, it still, it was just starting to get up, and you started to hear little rumbles of it. But now, where it's going strong. This is where most people now who's coming into it, people who've been coming into this in the last decade, for the most part, this is where they're hearing about it from. Not from the temples, not knocking that. I'm not putting anybody's names out there either. I'm just saying, like, for the most part, they've been hearing about it from people who will be like, might be a friend, might be somebody that they bump into, is like, yeah, oh, no, we don't even need that. I got my own tags, telling them, oh, we can get this, we can get these houses, just hearing about it like that, or seeing it online, seeing people, on YouTube with websites, telling people what they could do for you, even with the things people were running with the IRS, where they're getting money. Okay, but then at the same time, it would catch up to them, and they would have to go to trial over it and be facing prison time. People were doing that, with the IRS. And look, this is how a lot of people found out about it. Okay, and we have to be real about that. For the most part, that's how a lot of people found out about the whole thing with our nationality, and that's what got people into it. Not the whole fact that our nationality was stripped from us. If you look it up and see what black means, and the fact that they keep changing, your label, every generation, you know what I'm saying? And it all means the same thing. You legally have no rights. That's not what got people into it for the most part. A lot of people got into it because they're thinking like, okay, yeah, there's a rebellious spirit in you, and this is tapping right into like, hey, you can get out there, you can get these houses, you can get this land, you don't have to obey their laws, That's what got a lot of people into it. Okay, and so there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done because you have to bring it back home. Like, look, I'm gonna read some stuff to you too, because a lot of people don't even know what the prophet brought forth, and something has to be done about that because there's a lot of people who are younger, I guess, under 30, and who are on the information, and they like, screw the prophet. That's what they're thinking because they're like, they don't really understand. They don't even know that they wouldn't know anything about this nationality, any of this, if it wasn't for the prophet. He really brought forth something that connected us. He let us understand our connection to divinity, and the way that he did it, is profound. I get it. Some of you get it. There's a lot of people who don't. And that's why it's easy for them to be like, well, he did that 100 years ago. He's outdated. We need to do this now. They don't even understand. Okay, so there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done. And I'm saying this because, yeah, I see people saying this type of reckless stuff online, but I also see people saying this in real life, off the internet. Real people are really rolling like that, right? They rolling with stuff they seen online, or people telling them in the streets, and they're like, forget the prophet, we don't even need that, because they rolling with this sovereign stuff. And Islam, like the sister just said in the chat, you have to know the foundation. Okay, and the thing is, like, people don't know how profound what the prophet brought is. They really don't. So there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done. And I'm not knocking people that's under 30 or something. Just like I'm not knocking anybody that's out teaching. I'm not mentioning any names. I'm not going to anybody, any one person. Okay? And the only sovereign, I'm glad the person asked that in his chat. The only sovereign is Allah. Okay? And that's true. I mean, you don't have to agree with me. But if you don't agree, go look it up yourself. Okay? You're not going to be sovereign. Not dealing with, this physical reality, in this construct, how we are now. You're not. All right? You're not commanding this army. You can't do things like that on a major scale. You're not sovereign. That whole sovereign citizen thing is an oxymoron. A lot of people know that, but they're still running with that jargon, all that stuff coming from that movement. It's foolishness. It's straight foolishness. Okay? All right, but like I said, we're going to get into that too, to show you why that's not the way to move. All right? Hang on a second. All right. Okay, like what the prophet brought, the way the movement was set up, you have to look at it like this. The movement was set up. The temple officially was, as it is now, the Moorish Temple of America was set up in 1928. The way it was constructed within Illinois, 1 year later, the Vatican was set up the same way. Okay? He declared us a nation within a nation. And he said that we have everything that we need. We actually do. We did. We still do. People aren't moving right. Okay? And I guarantee you the prophet, he didn't bring this information and say, okay, y'all, go out there and squat in these houses. Take that land. Take it. He wasn't pushing people to move like that. He wasn't telling people, all right, get out here and argue with these these policy officers, enforcers, whatever you want to call them. He wasn't saying that. He's not like, get out here and start arguing with them, right to travel. Come on, get out there. Get out there, soldiers. Come on. This is how we going to do it. This is how we going to take it over. That's not what he was saying. Not only was he not saying that, but he was saying the opposite of that. Okay? And he's the one who set this up. Okay? With the divine vision. That works. All right? And that's one thing that people like to throw around. Like, people like say, oh, you're scared. You're scared. That's just chatter. It's just chatter. Because like I just said, people weren't going out being told to, hey, get out there, squat in houses, do X, Y, and Z back then. Matter of fact, they were told the opposite. Okay? That was discouraged. Why was the prophet and the Moors back then buying property? Why were they buying property? If you could just take it. Why were they setting up Moorish colonies? Okay? Why were they wasting time doing things like group economics, business, doing business together, building up our own economics, wasting time doing things like getting people into office? Okay? Like, seriously, if you think that's a waste of time, then this conversation is not for you. Don't even comment. You don't have to say anything. If you think that getting people in office, playing at the table like everyone else is, if you think group economics and working together, building our businesses up, if you think purchasing property, and doing things like this, if you think that's a waste of time, this conversation isn't for you. You may not be ready for this. Stick with what you're doing. Because some people are going to be knuckleheads and there's nothing we can do for that. Right? You can't reach people who already know everything and who are above correction and aren't even trying to, listen at all. There's nothing you can do for that. So you just leave them alone. Allah will take care of them. All right? But for the people who's listening and who are serious and genuine, especially if you're confused, I understand the confusion. All right? But some of the things that were being done, okay, they were never fully actuated because of the strife and different things that came in within the movement that stifled it. But I'm going to read something because, like I said, a lot of you Moors have never even heard this. Okay? This is supposed to be read at every meeting. This is from the Prophet Noble Drali. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or in the streets. We are for peace, not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. When these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. Right? All true Moors will and must obey the law is laid down to them by their prophet. They lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button. Just like somebody was just saying, like, would the prophet be still teaching this in this same fashion? That's a good question, I guess. But, if you don't have confidence in this, maybe this movement isn't for you. All right? If you think that you're supposed to be out here challenging jurisdiction, at every turn, making your life harder, to be a sacrifice for nothing, because these random I don't even know what you want to call them, attacks, these random movements here and there, there's no national strategy to it. There's no nothing to it. It's no different than this Black Lives Matters mess. Okay? There's some European billionaire George Soros funds. And all it does, it gets a bunch of black people together to go and protest for nothing. They don't have anything on the table. They don't have any legislation that's going to get changed. Nothing. Nothing. Just protesting. Just letting people know you not cool with this. But nothing on the table. There was when Hillary Clinton was trying to run for president, and she's met with 3 Black Lives Matters leaders. They had nothing to say to her. Just, how do you feel about them killing blacks? That's it. Nothing on the table. They're not saying, okay, this is what we need, X, Y, and Z. We need these laws changed. We need a committee formed to prosecute these people. Nothing. We need our own ADL, Anti-Defamation League. It's like, no, nothing on the table. Just mindless protests. Okay? That is done in mass to tap in your energy. Get y'all doing something pointless. Even though there's real, people are really upset about this stuff, and it's getting you to put it towards something useless. All right? Same thing with that Occupy Wall Street mess. Right? People wanting change. Okay, we got something for them to do. Keep them busy. Out here protesting for nothing. Nothing was on the table. Once again, they're not saying create more jobs, give us jobs. They're not saying nothing. Just protesting mindlessly, endlessly, pointlessly. Let me see what the brother's saying. So the brother gets it, I think. It's like you said, sacrifice for nothing. So they just tapping into that energy. The energy's real. The Moors really want change. We ready, right? So they're tapping into that energy like, yeah, we got something for y'all to do. Get caught up in this sovereign citizen mess. Like, yeah, they've been planning this out for decades. They already got the camps, prison camps for you to go into. They already have the profiles and all that stuff set up. How come immediately after you start seeing like stuff like that getting popularized in the media, immediately they got the label Black Identity Extremists, paper terrorists. They not even going after the sovereign citizens, the real ones, the Europeans who are bucking at the police like it's nothing. Some in West Memphis got stopped, and they killed some police officers. Right? They shooting at them. They're killing them. Man, for real, like, Moors aren't doing it like that. But they acting like y'all the biggest threat in the world. They got Homeland Security on, the FBI, local law enforcement. It's not a game. You have to be smart. Okay, you have to think ahead. Like, dude, they planned this out. Are you really thinking that you're sticking it to them and they just going to take it lying down and they not working on it at all? Come on, man. Come on. All right? That's not how it works. It would be nice. Wouldn't it be so easy if we could just say some magic words and whoever you feels against you just lays down? That's what people's acting like. Like, if you just say certain things, they just gonna do it, go along with it. Or this paperwork. Oh, now we got this seal on it. I got this stamp on it. It's notarized. And that's magic, right? They just gonna lay down. They got to. They bound by it. Are you crazy? It don't work. Okay? It's a trap. Wouldn't that be nice, though? Wouldn't that be nice if it was that easy? If we didn't have to actually build our economics up? If we didn't have to play the game just like all these other nationalities have to do? Right? That would be so easy and fun, right? Just easy. But it doesn't work like that. And I'm going to show you something. All right? I'll show you what I'm talking about. That stuff doesn't work. It would be cool if it did, though. But it doesn't. Right? So anyway, yeah. Can y'all see this? So what we got going on here? If you can see this video, this was in our group. If you're not in the group already, go on and join the group. It's in the description on Facebook. The brother had shared this in there, and this was some Moors who are squatting in the house. As you can see, they got a little baby jumper chair thing, little baby toys, little big wheel, and basically oh man, I clicked on the wrong thing. So the sheriffs had come up in here to kick them out. Okay, and as you about to see, they had their paperwork and everything, but it ain't about to stop nothing. Okay, and like for the detractors, for the people who have something ignorant to say, I'm not for any of this. You know, I'm not. I said already, I get the sentiment. I understand. People's fed up. They want something, but this ain't the way to go about it. And especially, you have a family. You have babies. You know, why are you putting your family in this situation? They coming and they got the axe.
No,
and
sir.
Since they not gonna let cooperate, they about to, you know, bust up in there. Because that's what happens when you do stuff like this. I mean, this is jacked up. I'm not gonna play this whole video because this is like 14 minutes.
Sheriff's office, anybody else in here?
Nobody's up there.
Nobody else is in the house?
No, sir.
Do you have any guns?
No. For what? For
No
what?
guns.
We come in peace. Y'all the only terrorists.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in here?
I'm not gonna keep
Sheriff's
saying.
office, anybody up here?
I'm not gonna keep saying
For
nobody
somebody's
else ain't
safety,
here.
that's why we're
I'm not gonna keep saying that somebody,
Okay.
nobody else ain't in here. It's on camera.
How you doing? Good morning.
You guys gonna break the door down?
No, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna move all your stuff out today because today is the day.
Okay, mercenaries. Jim Beam, for the record. Everybody's
So
name for the
here's the
record.
deal. Here's the deal. You can either
We're gonna
leave-
assist, help you guys move it.
you're gonna assist.
Yeah.
You're gonna be cooperative.
Well, no, we're not willingly doing this. Just to let you guys know, we don't submit to your jurisdiction or anything like that. you
Okay.
know? And this is
Let me pause it right there because nothing they're saying matters. Because some people are stupid and they're going to say, oh, they did this wrong. They did that wrong. They got their paperwork. They about to complain because the police don't care about their paperwork. It doesn't matter. This is not the way to move.
You need to go in and do a walkthrough.
This
So
is
you wanna
definitely
take me in?
treason. No, you guys will have to break the door down for that to happen.
You guys break the door in?
Yeah, you guys got to break the door down for that to happen. Can everybody say their name for the record?
I'm Officer
So I know who to
Luttle,
send.
man. Officer Luttle, Akron Police
You're not an
Department.
officer. What's your name again?
Officer
What's your
Luttle.
first name?
Officer Luttle.
JD
Akron Police
Luttle.
Department.
What's your name? $2 million tort notice on the door. Everybody is gonna get one. What's your name for the record? K Cummins. Okay. K Cummins.
Here, you can have it. You can have it.
Thank you.
All right. You're not gonna open the door.
Oh no,
Make sure you
see the notice of
make sure you get that
violation,
on
right?
record.
You see the notice of
Anything.
violation, right?
Watch there's a party inside the door there.
She's
You
not
unlock the
doing
door?
anything. No, we're not. We don't willingly submit to your jurisdiction.
So what?
Do you have anything on you?
What are you talking about?
Do you have anything on you?
Illegal search and seizure?
It's not illegal.
Illegal search and seizure?
Do you have any
Is that
weapons
is
on
that
you?
what this is?
Do you have any weapons?
Is that what this is? No, I don't have any weapons on me. I'm talking about I'll submit to your jurisdiction. This case is already in the Supreme Court of Ohio. So Everybody is going to get tort claims and lawsuits, and for them and their spouses. Door broken in by Jim Beam. Thanks a lot.
I like Jack Daniels. Come on.
Willingly submit to any stuff. So we have to leave, or else we're going to be kidnapped.
Yep.
No, you're going to go to jail.
You're gonna go to
Right,
jail.
we're going to be
That's
kidnapped.
kidnapping. That is kidnapping.
We're gonna be kidnapped.
That is kidnapping.
Calm down.
Get out of my
Shut up, little boy.
Get out of your house. You don't own shit, European.
Little ass
You don't own
boy.
shit, you
All right,
European.
you don't need to start making threats.
Yeah, and so saying all this little stuff, you don't know nothing, European, all that stuff did nothing, right? Okay, and so yeah. So the reason why I'm sharing that, like, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or anything. That's horrible. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing this at all. They put it out there. Okay? These people put this online because I guess they're showing that they're standing on a ground. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just like when there's people out there who are like teachers, who are like out here selling paperwork to y'all. They actually live stream the videos where the police stop them and then bust out their window and arrest them. I've seen this. I can't call out no names, but I've seen this happen. These people are out here actually selling paperwork to some of y'all, and some of y'all are actually buying it, even though that is proof that it doesn't work. They're selling stuff to you, and then they're showing themselves get hemmed up by the police. Police come, bust in their window. The stuff that they taught doesn't work. Okay? And so they're putting it out here for the world to see. It's open to critique. Just like everything I do is open to critique. People don't have any problem coming on here critiquing. Some people have a problem with me warning people to stay away from the mess, to stick with what the prophet brought. People got a problem with that, can come and critique it. So yeah, you know, people want to put out their videos showing themselves getting hemmed up and messed up for following some foolishness. I'm gonna critique it. You know why? Because somebody needs to. This is crap. This is BS. This is wrong, man. That is wrong. And then if you have children too, I mean, if you want to be out there messing around, you know, getting locked up, doing foolishness, and it's just you by yourself, I mean, hey, you want to be a sacrifice for no reason, that's on you. But you have children, that should be extra, you know, that should just like be an extra incentive for you not to get caught up in the foolishness. Right? But I guess not. You know, I guess not. So the thing is, squatting is not special. Anyone can squat on land. Did you know that? Anyone can. It has nothing to do with your aboriginal right to the land. None of that. Right? And people are doing it all the time. No one's actually keeping the property the way that people are doing it. Do you know that the way that it really works is like, say you go into a distressed neighborhood and you get some properties that are falling apart, and you actually work on them, and you're actually paying a property tax and keeping it up and building it up from nothing. That's completely different. You know? But people are, you know, you even have people who are live streaming themselves trying to do this stuff. All right? So it's completely wild out here. And it's a mess because, like, you know, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're online, you have people on your friends list that you don't know in real life. You know, they're not real flesh and blood people like me. They might not even be Asiatic. You know, you just got them on there because you think they are. But they're on there to profile you and people like you. Okay? So people are doing this stuff and don't even realize they're putting themselves in this box. This was a trap set up for you. Okay? You have to be smarter than this. All right? That is not the way to move at all. I don't know everything, but I know that's not the right way to move. That's dangerous. That's foolishness. Okay? And there's a lot of horrible examples, man. I could show more stuff. I'm not going to. That's enough. You know? I don't like seeing this stuff. And look, the prophet laid it out for you plain and simple. Okay? I mean, for the most part, he built off of what Marcus Garvey did. Okay? Garvey wasn't telling you to do that stuff either. And I get that everybody has all this knowledge now. You know, some of the stuff has truth in it, validity to it. But at the end of the day, they got these sovereign citizens of European descent who are actually murdering police officers, right? For the most part, Moors aren't even coming at it like that. And they going hard at y'all. They not even going that hard at them. They going hard at y'all, right? Why? Because it was just another way to get more Moors, Asiatics filling up the prisons, all right? It was another trap. Come through and derail the movement. All right? And so people who think that just challenging, you know, right to travel, challenging jurisdiction, things like that, left and right, here and there, are going to change anything. I guess this conversation isn't for you. It's for the newer people who haven't gotten all inundated with that mess yet, so that their brains aren't in fantasy land yet. Okay? Because if you think that doing something that's not going to work, and just like somebody just said, why are you calling them officers? Dude, get out of here. Don't watch this video. I'm just being real. Because you're stuck on the wrong thing. Like, seriously. Like, what was I just saying? Like, okay, look, if you think just random attacks, or whatever you want to call it, left and right, from people in different places, challenging jurisdiction, challenging right to travel, if you think that is doing something for us as a nation, if you think that's building our nation, you are crazy. You are mistaken. You are in fantasy land. It's not working. People have been doing this for 15 plus years. It's not working. People are getting locked up. It's not working. You have people who have never been locked up before. They get into the Moorish nationality and all this stuff. Now they're getting locked up. It's not working. That's not how you win. Being so pompous, being so full of yourself that you think you know everything and you can't even listen to someone else. Okay? I don't know what to say about that. If you're so full of yourself, you think you know everything, you can't accept that maybe you're possibly doing something the wrong way, or that you need to correct some of your movements, you're part of the problem. All right? Like, doesn't that make sense? Challenging right to travel is not how you build a nation. And then just doing it in these different municipalities, different townships, whatever you want to call it, doing it here and there. It's not getting any laws changed. It's not changing legislation. It's not doing anything. It's not. And then people would rather do this than actually build and move how we're supposed to. Right? And so once again, this video is for the most part, people who are open to, to the information, people who are new to this. Because the know-it-alls, I think a lot of us who have been on this for years are like dead weights. A lot of us who have been on this for years that know so much, that are so stuck on, nah, I'm going to keep squatting in houses, I'm going to keep doing this. A lot of people like that are just, y'all gone. Y'all fell into the trap. You don't think this is a trap. You don't think this was a trap for you, and that's one of the part of the problems. You know, it's just like you got a lot of brothers out there, sisters out there, listen to trap music or used to listen to trap music. People that make trap music call it trap music, and still listen to it, still pumping it straight into your brain. So, like somebody just said in the chat, what the prophet gave us was simple. And it's actually profound, you know? And a lot of people don't know because they were introduced to Moorish science, Moorish nationality through this whole, I don't even know what you would call it. I'm going to call it fantasy land right now because I don't have a better name for it. But it's what you get when you mix, you know, all the different sovereign citizen stuff, when you mix all these different ideologies together and you throw the prophet on there when it's convenient for you, you know? When you throw some Moorish stuff in there to make it sound like it's Moorish or indigenous or whatever, tribal. Because that's really what it is. And I'm not knocking nobody, you know, for listening to Migos or whatever. I was just making a point. You know, like, we, sometimes we know better and we still going along with it. So, like, I'm saying, like, if you can't see that this was a government setup, this is a psyops game, if you can't see that, woo, all right? Because I'm telling you, like, who out there, please, somebody raise your hand, say something in the chat if that's appealing to you. Like when you see these people out there that everybody's listening to, that's like selling, like I'm not selling anything to you. I'm not saying don't buy their correction, status correction, get it from me. I'm not doing that. Right? But please raise your hand if it's appealing to you when you see these people who's out here selling this paperwork and stuff, and they're showing the videos of themselves getting arrested. They're showing themselves on their right to travel, the police bust their window in and arrest them. If that's appealing to you, let me know. Like this dude that just said something in the chat, you're not qualified to speak. Talking about it's working. That doesn't work, dude. Getting locked up and not getting anything done or changed, that means it didn't work. Plain and simple. If you're telling people to do this and you're doing it, you're not getting anything changed, no laws changed, no legislation, nothing. Nothing's being done. You're just encouraging people to do it. I think people like that are more than likely, you know, they're on somebody's payroll. Their job is to come out here and get more of y'all locked up. And some of y'all willingly going along with it like soldiers. And you going hard for it. Like, no, that's the way. We just going to keep doing it. What you getting changed? What's being changed? And then you selfish with it. What about your children? What's being changed, like on a generational level, or for the entire community? What's being changed? Is that making the police stop just executing our people? Is that making them stop pulling us over for no reason? Is it making them stop messing with you and others like you? No, it's every man for themselves. So you're not getting nothing changed. But you still encouraging people to do it. That is crazy. And that's why I said, like, if y'all stuck on that, you're dead weight, man. You dead in the water. Because you can't even see when it's right in front of you. This is not a game. It's not a game. People, and I'm not even saying people, a think tank actually, study the movement, study what's going on, and they put that out there as an entrapment, and you're just eating it up. I hope not all of you. Come on, scared to fight for your rights. Like, that is crazy. It's insane. That is insane that people will actually say that. And then it's like, what? Like, how do I can't get it, because I'm doing good. Successful. I got my family. We good. I'm not looking at this and thinking, yo, this is what I need to do. I need to go out there and argue with them every time. I need to move us into one of these foreclosed homes, squat in a home. Hell, dude, I would not. That's the wrong way to move. Who is that appealing to? Right? Just like I said the same thing online. Like, what type of squalor are you living in that you see this stuff and it's appealing to you? You view this behavior as a win. People getting hemmed up, and they're not getting anything done for it. They're getting hemmed up for no reason. For no reason. They're getting hemmed up. It'd be different if they do that and they're getting laws changed. They're getting things done that benefit several people. Nothing's done. And then the people who are saying this isn't providing a way out, it's because your only exposure to this is through the internet and through stuff like this. That's why I'm saying you have to go into the temple. Y'all don't want to hear that though. This is the knuckleheads saying this stuff. It's only the knuckleheads. You don't know what the prophet brought. And some people do, and they're still turning away. And that's another thing we seeing out here. Of course online, because people say all types of stupid stuff online. But out here in the streets too. Some of y'all know this stuff. You know what the prophet brought, and you don't care. You running with this beat. Man, y'all running with this silly fantasy mess. That's what I'm going to call it. So all y'all, anybody who's in here promoting squatting in houses, promoting, arguing with the police over right to travel and all this silliness with no national plan, no strategy, no nothing. You're just arguing right to travel for your selfish self. You're not trying to get anything done at a legislative level for the people at hand, for the community. You're just arguing it for yourself. You're selfish. You guys are fantasy Peter Pan Moors, right? Y'all some Peter Pan fantasy people, man. Y'all not real. Because how does doing this just for you, how is that building a nation? And for the people who's like, well, you're not bringing nothing, like, dude, it's already been brought forth. You don't know because you're getting your info from the internet, and that's it. Or from these people who's trying to sell you something. Of course, they're going to keep encouraging you to mess yourself up out here because they're selling you the paperwork. They don't care if you go to jail. They don't care. Like, it's already been set up. Y'all don't know, though. So, yeah, this stuff has to be cleaned up. Some more of y'all need to be real and say something about this stuff. Stand up against it. Stop going along with it. Shoot, maybe the people who's attracted to the movement because you think you're going to get out of some charges or something. Or, you think you're going to be above the law. Now, maybe you don't need to be in the movement because you're not trying to do anything. I'm not selfish for standing on your square. Dude, you're not standing on your square. You're losing. Y'all are losing. And then that's the thing, like, somebody wants to argue right to travel for yourself. You don't want to get legislation done at a level so that you guys don't have to argue, so that everyone's good. That's how Chinese people think, I guess. That's how somebody else, another nationality. Everybody else except y'all, I guess. You just thinking for self. Anybody else would be like, nah, me and you arguing right to trial. That's not good enough. We need to do something for all of us, for not just for me and you, but for us, for mom, dad, our children, everybody. So you want to, come on, man. So y'all want to keep doing this individual stuff and act like you building the nation. Right? And keep saying that you scared. Scared because you're talking about doing things at a greater level. Doing what the prophet brought. Building things up. That's what I'm saying. So it's already known. It's already been said. I'm glad people, more people are doing something and being active and then speaking out against this foolishness, man. This stuff needs to get washed down the toilet. Right? And everybody else like, dude, this dude can't even stop watching. If it's a joke, stop watching. I didn't make you look at the page. I didn't make you subscribe. There's thousands of subscribers on here. You don't have to be on here. You can go to Fantasyland. There's plenty of other people on YouTube selling you this fantasy. Matter of fact, they actually selling you paperwork too. I'm not selling anything. They actually charging you for stuff. Go watch them. They'll feed your ego. Because you're already invested in this. So your ego can't handle anything saying, hey, that might not be the way to move, So go to something that's going to feed your ego. Get out of here. For real. Because it's like, look, man. That was it. Point blank. Arguing that right to travel for yourself does nothing for the community, does nothing for the nation, doesn't even do anything for your friends or your family. They're going to have to argue it too. You're not even taking it to a higher level. Why don't you get people in office that's going to work with your Moorish organization, that's going to do things for your people? Nope. That's agent talk. Doing things like everyone else. Right? You don't have to do things like everyone else, right? Yeah. So, hey. Knuckleheads gonna be knuckleheads. Y'all some fantasy knuckleheads. I don't even know why y'all watching this stuff, because I let it be known a while ago I ain't with that foolishness. Not with it. I'm not gonna promote it, support it, and if you're on the foolishness, not gonna feed your ego. You need to grow up. Arguing cases for yourself, standing on your right to travel for yourself, ain't building a nation. It's not doing anything for the people as a whole. And people are getting locked up. And it's just foolishness. So, hey. Squatting in houses is not imitating the prophet. Now, I can see if you were opening up a business, hiring other Moors. You're not trying to do that. You want to squabble over tickets and pettiness. Put yourself in harm's way. Right? You want to put yourself in harm's way by going the extra mile to do things you don't even have to do. Right? And so, for the people who aren't getting it, like I said before, there's nothing you could do for that. Okay? And for the multitude who are new to this, who haven't been so invested in the foolishness, they can still learn. But some of us have just been, into this stuff for so long. You know too much. You're not trying to hear anything else, and there's nothing can be done for that. So it's really important that people see that. And I know some people are upset. They see the video because it's foolish. It looks bad. It's not a good look. I don't know why people would even put that video up. That doesn't make you look good. All right? It doesn't. You look powerless. right? It's just like these people who's out here selling and stuff, and then they actually show themselves getting hemmed up by the police. That doesn't make you look good. It's a bad look. Bad look. All right? So wise up. And people who's new to this, stay away from that mess. These people are out here on some fantasy mess. They want to believe that just having this paperwork, having your magic seals and stamps and stuff on it is going to make them automatically just bow down. And they're not doing it. They haven't done it. They didn't do it in the past. They're not doing it now. Some people are actually serving time behind this stuff. And then they still promoting it. Still promoting it. Right? So stay away from that. People telling you, and that's one of the things, man. People coming into the movement, they're like, oh no, we can't have driver's license. Okay, well, how do I move? They're wondering what to do now because they think that they have all these extra hoops they need to jump through, and yet everyone out there is moving differently. Everybody has different things that they do. It's a mess. It's not even organized, man. So come on, right? And so for the people who's new to this, look, you want advice, finding a temple, Moorish Science Temple of America, official one. Learn what the prophet actually brought, and then see how, see what you can do. Okay? But as far as not driving with a license, look, you just add an extra burden on yourself. Right? The people who are in the fantasy land who have something to say about that, ask them what they have to show for it. See how wonderful their life is, how they're living. You can't honestly be successful and living a good life if you're on that fantasy mess. If you're trying to squat in the house, all right, you can't be doing that good. All right? These people can't, they can't be successful if you living like that. So I just put that out there for the people. And I don't care who it rubs the wrong way, because if you're on this foolishness, you're stuck in fantasy land. You're not trying to build a nation. All right? And some of y'all, you'll keep doing this for decades, even though it's not getting any progress. You're not putting anything on the table. You're not changing any legislation. You're not doing anything. Okay? And so let them keep doing that, running on that wheel like a hamster. All right? When people talking about business, building, economics, cool. If they're talking about challenging jurisdiction, challenging right to travel, all the other foolishness, stay away from them. And yeah, this was kind of a rant, just because a lot of this stuff needs to get out. People need to know about this. And it's too bad that a lot of new people to this are getting led astray. So there needs to be a voice out there kind of cut through the foolishness. Okay? And I think anybody who's rational can see that's just not the way to move. It just isn't. And I don't know, man. That's pretty much it. I think some of y'all who are on here in the chat defending this foolishness are just ranting online. You're not serious, because look, online, people will come online and they'll say all types of craziness. They'll talk crazy to you, but like out here in the real world, nobody does that. So when y'all online, you super duper more, you don't have a driver's license, you standing on your square, you doing all this stuff. But in real life, you're not really about that life. All right? Because the ones who are, y'all got some difficulties. Because it's hard for you to move. It's difficult. Some of y'all actually getting locked up behind this because you're really about that fantasy life. Okay, but most of y'all, it's just internet. Y'all just talking trash online. So people beware of that too. A lot of these people who's encouraging you to move like that, these the same fantasy fools who were encouraging people like Corrine Gaines when she was talking talking stuff to the police and they killed her. You know, she was actually on Facebook Live, and people was encouraging her, man. They didn't care about her, and that her death meant nothing. She didn't get anything accomplished, and people were encouraging her. You know, and so beware of that. That's real talk. The stuff that these people are talking, it's not real. They're either selling you something or they bought it and their ego can't handle the fact that it don't work. So they're going to roll with it until the end. All right? And that's it. They either selling it or they bought it. Okay? You got to be looking out for yourself out here. And the best thing to do is to roll with what the prophet brought. Any of these people talking that stuff, they either don't know what the prophet brought or they know and they don't care. They think it needs to be updated. They think they know better. They don't believe he had divine insight. They don't believe he connected us to our divine forefathers with the divine constitution and bylaws. They're not with that. All right? They know better. Follow them at your own risk. Okay? You could be out there in the foreclosed house talking to the police, telling the officers, the enforcers, telling them how your paperwork's on the door. They still gonna bust it in. Telling them you don't consent. It's not gonna matter. Okay? And somebody asked me what's my thoughts on these other people that sell the paperwork. I never mess with them. I never got caught up in that mess. You know? I just peeped it. Let me see how this stuff works. And it ain't working. Okay? But I'm not going to sit up and, talk trash about some other Moors. I told you what I would do. I would look into what the prophet brought. And then actually study it. Actually have an understanding of what the Moorish Divine and National Movement actually is. Actually see how some of these things that people are talking about could actually work. Okay? And see for yourself how random people here and there arguing right to travel for themselves, how that's doing nothing towards building a nation. How it's not even fixing the whole issue that they have for the people as a whole. They're not worried about that. They selfish. So I would advise, finding an official Moorish Science Temple of America. Going and building with them. Yes, getting the materials. Actually put in a little work to study what the prophet brought. Okay? That's the most important thing. Because just like what I was reading earlier, a lot of people don't even know the prophet actually was warning people back then. Moors were actually causing confusion then. He's warning them, Abide by the laws. Not just the laws in our divine constitution. To be law-abiding citizens. All right? People don't know this. He wasn't telling them, look, we don't need driver's licenses anymore. That would have been a foolish thing to say. Right? Foolish. These people who are in fantasy land are acting like we're not, like our people haven't been colonized, like we're not in a situation where that's not advantageous to you. They're acting like it's fun to get your window busted out by the police for no reason. They're acting like that's cool. Oh, yeah, it's cool. Take a hit for the team. Get out there and be a sacrifice. That stuff ain't cool. Because the people who's doing it, they just doing it recklessly and aimlessly. They're not even pushing for any legislation. They're not doing anything. Just challenging for themselves. Some of these people weren't going to have licenses anyway because their license got suspended. So, they're not really risking anything. They were already living trifling. And that's one of the problems. You got to be able to, understand that Just because people are pretending to be Moors doesn't mean that they're really sincere and real about it. Okay? Because I'm not like doing this stuff for the internet. I'm not out here getting high and drunk all the time, acting stupid, living reckless and foolish. But you have people who's doing this and they're giving you advice. Come on, man. And that's why I'm saying a lot of this stuff is appealing to people because they're already living trifling anyway. They got cases. They license suspended. So they was already going to be driving with it with no license anyway. So right to travel, yeah, I'm not going to argue this. That's it. Point blank. Plain and simple. Right? They already, wasn't taking care of their kids anyway. So they don't care about none of this. Then what's it to them to go squat in the house? They got nothing to lose. They not living right. They're not even trying to. And these are the people you are listening to and taking advice from. And this is why I could care less if a fool like this has something negative to say as a comment. To me, this person is a fool. This is like a fantasy. Peter Pan, old person who's like Peter Pan. Never want to grow up. These people are old fools. Old and living trifling. And this is why this trifling stuff appeals to them. And this is why when they see these teachers who are out here actually selling paperwork, but yet they show the video of them getting pulled over and the police busting their window out and hemming them up. That's why they not turned off by that. They already living like that. Police already is going to be busting out their window and hemming them up because they riding dirty, because they don't have a license anyway, because they're living trifling. They're not trying to live right. That's another thing. Some of these people know what the prophet brought, and they know that this is not how to build a nation. They know that. They're not trying to do what the prophet brought. They're not trying to clean themselves up. Okay? They're not concerned with the lower self and the higher self. They're not concerned with any of this stuff. They don't want to do anything that's in the Quran. Okay? They don't want to have a wife. They don't want to take care of their family. They don't have any problem with scheming and scamming on other Asiatics. They don't have any problem with getting over on other people that look like them. These are the people who I'm talking about who are living this fantasy life. They don't care. And that's why they'll come on here talking, because this hits them. I peep it. I see right through you. You trifling. That's why this trifling stuff appeals to you. Anyone else with sense, they see this stuff, they're thinking, why would this family, why would these people put their children and squat in the house and do this silly paperwork stuff that didn't work? Why would they even put themselves in that situation and put their children in there? And this has nothing to do with the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Why are they doing that? And they're trying to give the Moorish Science Temple of America a bad name, because they're not with the Moorish Science Temple of America until they get in trouble. Now all of a sudden they're calling themselves Grand Sheiks or saying they Moorish Science Temple of America. They had nothing to do with it. And they didn't want to be in the temple because the temple's not advising them to do stuff that's going to get themselves hemmed up. This is real. All right? Y'all need to peep game. These people aren't even cool. They not slick. They're on some fantasy BS. It doesn't work. And that's how come they're on some selfish right to travel. They're not trying to fix the situation for everyone. They just arguing theirs because they were already going to be trifling, driving with no license. That's it. And so, hey, anybody that's defending that stuff, even after all this that's been laid out, stay away from them. They letting you know they trifling. And for most people out there, that's the main thing that turns them off about the Moorish Science Temple and about the prophet and everything that's brought, It's coming to bring us back into alignment with our divinity. with our connection to divinity through our ancient forefathers. They're not trying to do that mess. That's mess to them. They're not trying to live right. All right? It's like you already a Moor. All you need to do is proclaim it. Go to the temple. Get right. Do right. All right? And we don't need that mess anymore. We don't need to try to appeal to people who's losing in life and who's cool with losing, who don't want to improve themselves. It's different if you've made mistakes in the past and you know that you don't have to keep making them, so you're trying to clean up. But if you just, you know that you still trying to be trifling and you just go, oh, I'm just going to use this more stuff now, I can get away with it. We don't need that. You know? Because all that stuff is doing it, they just giving themselves a bad name. Because, like, the official movement can't be connected to that mess. Because they're not right. All right? And that's sad that these people will actually sit up and try to act like they're right. But they can't argue with that. It's point blank, plain and simple. What are y'all doing? What have you gotten done? What have you done? It's been going on for 15 years now, strong. What have you gotten done? Nothing. Is it easier for us to move as a whole? No. You're still all by yourself if you want to argue this mess. So they didn't get any legislation done. They didn't make it any easier. They didn't put them on notice because they still gonna mess with anyone if they feel like it. So they didn't get anything done, and so they're selfish. And let's see what else. I mean, there is nothing else. You just look at people's body of work. What are they doing? Nothing. Right? It just makes it easier for people who's going to be trifling anyway to keep being trifling because they were going to do it anyway. Now they can argue and, possibly get away with it and scheme a little longer. That's it. So, that stuff is completely like, on the side. That's some criminal activity, man. It has nothing to do with the Moorish Science Temple of America at all. Nothing. And it has nothing to do with the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Nothing. Okay? These people are outside the movement. And they don't want to be in the movement because they don't want to live right. And that's the only people this should be appealing to. And the only reason I'm saying this and don't feel like this video is a complete waste of time is because I know that everybody out there isn't a knucklehead. There's some people who are genuinely interested in doing something about the fact that their nationality was stripped from them. And those are the people who matter. The people who are trifling and who just want to, have a cover for their triflingness don't matter. They don't want to live right anyway. And they're turned off by the real movement because they don't want to get right. Because within the movement, you can't keep just doing things that you know are wrong and keep doing it. You have to correct yourself. It's all about self first. Correcting yourself. Your own actions. If your license is suspended, correct it. You can't just scheme and get over. This isn't a scheme. It's legit. And that's the problem. These fools don't want to recognize that it's legit. And they are fools. They are. Because they don't want to do right. They know better. They know better. And they don't want to do right. All right? And so... that was just it. That was my advice for the people out there that's sincere and real. And like I said, you could see that's why I put the chat up. You can see some of the foolish stuff that people were saying. You see that foolish stuff. Stay away from them. If you're not trifling, if you're not trying to live trifling for the rest of your life, you want to correct yourself and fix your own, things that you're doing that's not good enough. Cool. But if you're just trying to get over, this ain't for you. Right? And that's it. It should be common sense, but the reason people get caught up is because you have people who want to do something about the fact that nationality was stripped from them. They want to do something about the conditions that we're in as a whole. And so they see other people who saying they're Moors and they think that they're sincere, but they're not sincere. They're not like you. These other people, they trifling, and that's it. And for them, this is just another scheme. And that's why they turned off by the prophet, because they don't want to get right within. They don't want to fix themselves. They just want to scheme, man. They just looking for a way to get over. And that's why I'm saying too, like, we don't need to appeal to people like that. We don't need to come say, hey, you can come over here, we can get you some stuff for free. You don't have to abide by any laws. You could be trifling. You could do all types of stuff. Ain't nobody, you can get away with it. No. You have to correct yourself. All right? And some of the stuff people say is so foolish. It's like, you don't have any structure, anything set up to deal with your people as a whole. Okay, when they're operating their vehicles. So you need to be quiet because you're on that Peter Pan fantasy mess. And you can say that to a baby who doesn't know anything. You can't say that to me. You sound foolish. It's like, what are you, like 7 years old? There's no organization to deal with our people as a whole. And until that's set up, guess what? You have to do things how they are already set up for you. You have to work from within. Right. And that's it. And then it's just like somebody else said something foolish. It's like, what are you doing in court? Why are you always in court? What are you doing wrong? What are you in there for? Like, most of the stuff, if you fix yourself, you correct your own behavior and your issues, you're not going to be going to jail and finding yourself in court all the time. There's a lot of people out there who are Asiatics, who aren't always in some type of trouble, whose license isn't always suspended. It's always somebody else's fault, ain't it? Right? That's another reason why this don't appeal to y'all. I'm talking about the foolish people, the fantasy people. People trying to put words in my mouth. I never even said the words, the DMV. These people talking about, like, y'all are foolish. You have no system set up to deal with your people. It takes time and work to get to that point. You're trying to put the horse, before the cart. So, that's that foolishness. You can't do anything for people like that, right? So, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down, and not waste any time talking to these Peter Pan fantasy people. All right. This is what it is. And especially for people who's new to the movement. To me, if you've been in this 5 years or less, you're new to it. All right. What I say is take what you've learned and then go to the temple. Actually get the prophet's material, the Quran, the divine constitution and bylaws, get the writs, get everything that the prophet actually wrote, read it, understand it, find out what he brought. And if you still don't understand it, speak to some other people like who've been dealing with it for years, like Grand Sheik, at the temple, the sheiks. Get an understanding of what the prophet brought and how this actually works, and also how it works on a grand scale, and then see how you could contribute. And if that don't work for you, fine. But if you calm and patient enough to do that, more than likely you're gonna get somewhere with it. Okay? And that's what I advise you to do, because there's a lot of confusion going on out here. And a lot of the people that are promoting it, they're not going to show you all the people getting locked up and how it's not really working out well for them. Okay? But it's not. All right? And for the person who said not all the temples are spitting the truth, look, you have the different factions, the temples. split and everything, but for the most part, everyone's dealing with the same material. So you don't have to worry about the flaws within man. Okay? You can go to what the prophet brought and study it for yourself. Okay? So don't let that deter you if you're sincere when you say that. Like, I'm talking to people that's sincere. You know, you don't have to be deterred by that. Okay? You can go to it and see it. And then you'll see for yourself the difference in how doing things left and right, standing, you know, on your right to travel, and which is selfish, which doesn't get anything done for your people as a whole, doesn't even improve the right to travel for your friends and family. It's just about you and yourself. Anyone else who follows your lead will be, you know, on their own. Okay? So, you know, you'll see how that's foolishness. These people who are arguing and fighting for that, it's only because of their ego, because they're so stuck in it. They've put so much, invested so much into it that they're stuck. You know? They'll keep marching off that cliff because their ego. They got to do that ego march right to their death. They don't care. They don't care. They see. Now, a lot of people see this as a trap, and they still going to go because they've put too much into it. You know? So you don't have to follow them. It's foolishness. People out here talking about squatting in houses. Anybody can squat in a house. That's nothing special. Okay? And then they're doing it foolishly, going into neighborhoods where they're not even wanted or welcome. You know, neighborhoods where, like, these are like mini mansions and stuff where, you know, maybe the majority of the people there are European and they don't want them there. Why are you trying to go in here and squat in this house? All right? Nobody's doing that. And they're not winning. And somebody in Tennessee squatted in a house, and she was only in there for 5 days. SWAT team came, got her, hemmed her up, put her children in the system, and put her in prison for 20 years. And she lost the appeal. Okay? Nobody helped her. You know? The people she was getting her paperwork from, one of these popular places, they ain't help her. You know, the other Moors who was encouraging her to do it, they ain't help her. Can't help her. And there's a lot of people, you know. Some people are lucky enough, they just, you know, when they squat, you know, because none of these people are keeping this stuff. When they get kicked out, that's it. But the other ones are going to jail too. Prison, not jail. So, and they're not doing nothing. It's not like it's like an organized strategy. You know, it's not doing anything for the nation. They're not building the nation. So, like, I'm saying, like, for those new to this, stay away from that mess. It doesn't work. You know? And that's not war. Dude, that's a massacre. That's what come on, man. You fantasy people got to get blocked. Baby, can you don't, because y'all on that fantasy mess, man. Somebody's foolish enough to say in war there's wins and losses. Dude, that's not even chess. That's a massacre. And you have no idea how to strategize. You don't keep doing something that doesn't work. Right? And so people, you got to look out for stuff like this. You got to, come on, man, that should sound foolish. People are out here getting hemmed up, taking losses left and right, losing their dignity, looking bad, looking weak. And they're losing. They're not gaining anything. They're not getting any legislation done. It's a loss on every level. It's a massacre. All right? And they're trying to use it to that would be like the only publicity they would give to the Moorish American, you know, to the movement. Is when they can lampoon it, make fun of it. And y'all giving it to them. Right? So yeah, that's foolish, man. Every time these people have something to say, y'all just sound foolish. It's a massacre. And no wins. The wins are all for the other team, dude. That's called a massacre. It's called a blowout. Come on, man. That's crazy. Yep. And so, yeah, the brother in the chat said it perfect. If the prophet is right, the temple is right. And just like the prophet said, if you lose faith in him, return to the state where he found you. Okay? And at the end of the day, I'm going to end on that because that's perfect. The people out here who don't like what the prophet brought, you don't think that it's cool to fix yourself, build yourself up. If you're not expected to be perfect, but to at least work towards being a better person. You know, taking care of yourself, your health, your mental well-being, your family, and you know, living right. And to build up the community, you know, like I said, a lot of things that he started were based off of what Marcus Garvey was building on. You know, group I can't say that word, group economics. Okay? Working together, building on that level, actually getting people elected, moving like this. Man, that's realistic, that's practical. Okay? But this is what the prophet brought. And like he said, if you don't have faith in what he brought, return to the state where he found you. It won't be hard because the people who this is unappealing to, you already in the state where he found you. You're already acting like a Negro. You're not trying to change. That's why it's unappealing to you. You live in a Negro life. You living like a savage, like a beast. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You're out here doing a lot of trifling mess. We're not, you know, there's several ways that you are living a trifling life, and that's why what the prophet brought is unappealing to you. So it won't be hard for you to return to the state where he found you because you're already there. You're just putting a Moorish face on it. You know? Being a Moor online or something. Fake with it. Right? And that's it. So, that's it. Peace. We're not worried about the people who's not with it. Y'all gonna do the wrong thing anyway. So for everybody else, like, see the light in this, man. It just that's what we advise you to do. Go towards the temple. Go towards the prophet, and that's it. Stay away from these other fools. All right, because they're not gonna do right, and they marching towards the trap. They see it's a trap, and they still cool with it. All right, I can't get with that at all. And I just was putting this out there just as a heads up. All right, peace.